I wasn't 18 yet, and so I had to lie on my application form. I was only 17, I hadn't finished, I'm sorry, I did. I lied. I hadn't finished my A-levels, even. I was at Southgate College, round the corner. And I'd escaped from my boarding school. This is a bit of background. You need to understand. I was rebelling. And as a result, I had huge spiked back-combed hair, and I was wearing Vivienne Westwood's early creations, and I had huge kabuki makeup on. And you need to understand that as I went into the Barbican Centre, which is huge, and we all had to find our way up into these rooms, which I didn't know were dance studios. I'd never been in a dance studio. I should have known because I had mirrors all over the wall and sprung floors. And there were all these people in ordinary clothes, and I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to turn up looking like I did. And there were all these glamorous people looking stunning and thin and magnificent and confident and sitting all over the floor, just like that. And I thought, I failed. Already I failed. Oh my God. And then I saw this red hair over the other side of the room, this bright red hair. It looked even redder because she was sitting with her back to the mirror. So it looked like two redheads. Two redheads who come to pantomime every Christmas. And she suddenly started nudging her bum across the floor like that. No one was sitting next to me. It looked like I had some illness. I don't know why. And she nudged away all the way around the corner through all these very stiff, confident-looking people. And she sat down, whoops, next to me, easily done, no problem. She sat down next to me and she said, "I love your makeup. It's so glamorous." And I said, oh, it's completely wrong. I meant to be doing Look Back in Anger. I meant to be northern. I meant to be wearing a plaid shirt and corduroy trousers. I'm wearing zips all over my black trousers. I look hideous. I failed. She said, no, you're gorgeous, gorgeous. I love it. And she sat there, and with all the kindness that we all know Lynda possessed, she worked on me and worked on me. And she said, "How do you get your hair that high?" And I said, "Don't touch it, it's like barbed wire." And she made me completely forget what I was worrying about. She said, "What Shakespeare are you doing?" And I said, "Midsummer Night's Dream." "There, you see," she said, "you look like magic. It's perfect, perfect." I said, "Yes, but still not northern." And she said, "It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter." And slowly these people went, and they went. If it had been a movie, it would have been all speeded up, and the room would have emptied. And we were left to the end. It was almost 3 of us, and they were calling people's names every 5 minutes. What we didn't know is that there were 500 that they were seeing over the space of a weekend. And then they called Lynda, and I put on this face of panic, and she said, "Do you want me to wait for you?" And I said, "Would you?" And she said, "Yes, yes." And then they called me, and I couldn't see her anywhere. And I went in, and they said, "You look rather unusual." And I thought, oh, that's it then. Failed. And I did my thing, and I came out, and I realized they were taking us in one way and taking us out the other. So I said to the woman, "I forgot something. I forgot something in the other room." And I ran back, and there Lynda was. And she waited for me. She waited for me just like she promised. And I burst into tears. And made a complete fool of myself. I said, thank you so much. And she said, I said I would. She said, would you like a cup of tea? And I said, yes. And we went downstairs, and that's what we had. And then we went home. She went her way, I went mine. And we waited for our respective letters. What we didn't know was that 500 would get slashed to 100 for the recalls. The recalls came, and we got split into 3 groups, and I was looking around for Lynda, and there she was. And I said, my God, you got it as well. And she said, you got it. And we said, we both got it. What's happening? She said, they told me to bring dance gear. Dance, darling, we've got to dance. And I said, I didn't bring any dance gear. She said, socks, do it in socks. And I said, all right, socks. What if my socks are smelly? And she said, it doesn't matter. She said, do it with glamour. Do it with glamour. They won't take their eyes off you. They won't look at your socks. They won't smell your socks. Don't worry, don't worry. And it was really, really difficult. What they were doing was taking us down corridors, into rooms, dissecting us. This time, instead of doing our 3 speeches in front of a huge table, we got thrown into rooms and had to do them one at a time in front of 2 people here and 2 people there and 2 people there. And then we got taken and we had to dance, and then we got taken down here and we had to do voice. And we were meeting like ships in the night. And I was passing her and she was going, what happened? What happened? Voice, what happened? And I was going, arpeggios, scales, flatter her. She's an egomaniac. And she was going, thank you, darling. And I'd pass her, dance, what happened? He's mad. I could see his bits under his leotard. Okay, it's weirdy woo stuff, feeling the space. Then it's proper dancing. Thank you, darling. And it was like that all day round, till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we got put in 3 different rooms. We didn't know there were 2 other rooms. What they'd done was split us into fails, maybes, and yeps. We didn't know that. And we didn't know what order they were going to go in. So they went into the fails first. After having a big row, they took an hour. Like Simon Cowell on that horrible program where they get rid of the photographs. They had a row for an hour. And this is important, this bit, because it involves Lynda. I never told Lynda about this. I found out about it afterwards. And then they went to the maybes, and they told them they were maybes, and that was quite important because at least 2 chose to go to a different drama school or decided they were going to become paleontologists at the last minute, and so turned down their places. And that is what happened, actually. Not paleontologists, but 2 of them came from the middle room. And then they came to us. We were last, and we were exhausted and scared and frightened, and we didn't know what was going to happen. And they came in and they said, you're the ones. And we said, what ones? You're the ones we want. And Lynda just threw her arms around me. And we went, like this. Still against a mirror, and it was wonderful. What I found out later, and this is important, I started at the end of the 3rd year dating someone on the staff, and very unprofessional. Hush your mouth. And anyway, I found out that in the room with the moguls at the table, when they were discussing who to take And they were only taking 7, actually, not 5 girls. 22 people, by the way, they took. There was a row about Lynda. There were 2 people who were very unsure about Lynda and didn't know whether to take her in. Not because she wasn't talented. They all agreed how talented she was. But they said, she's extraordinary. She's absolutely extraordinary. We don't think she can work. We don't know where she could work, how she could work. Where would they put her? She's not going to be in the middle of EastEnders, is she? I mean, she's not going to be doing Pinter. She hated Pinter, by the way. She hated anything drab. When we went through drama school, we were doing Brecht, and she used to go, why? Why do I have to be an old bag woman on the floor? What's the point? It's not glamorous, darling. It's not my idea of drama. Horrible old rat people in the corner. I used to try and explain to her that it's very important drama. No! Anyway, these 2 people were very senior on the staff. However, the 2 most senior people on the staff said, it doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. The other thing we didn't know is the deputy head of the Royal Shakespeare Company was also the guest judge. He was sitting there on the end very quietly in a black polo neck. And he said, I agree. He said, the point is, you can't take your eyes off her. He said, ever since she walked in this room, when she started talking, answering questions, every speech she's done, the moderns, the Shakespeares, the classic, I can't take her eyes off her. There are mistakes, there's certainly room for improvement, some of it's naive, but she's extraordinary, and she's extraordinarily brilliant. So take her in, or you're fools.
Yes.
And so, hell yeah, she got the in vote. I never told her that. I didn't need to. When we got out of drama school, Lynda had a little bit of difficulty fitting in, because they drilled into her that she was meant to be a certain type of actress. She was meant to be rat woman on the floor in the corner. She was meant to be sitting there in a Pinter play going, yes, maybe, no, tea. Exactly. You've been to enough Pinter plays.
I've been to drama school.
There you go, you know exactly what I mean. Oh, however, I must say, she did do one classic play, and it was one of the hardest parts anyone ever did while I was there. She got given the lead in The Changeling, and it's an extraordinary part, and it's an extraordinarily difficult play, and the staff rowed about that too. But the director said, I want her. I want her. There's no other girl on this course who can do it. And she was absolutely extraordinary. There were very few roles, apart from Shakespeare, who completely understood women, written in that period. And you have to remind yourself why. It's because all female parts were played by men. So there are hardly any female parts, apart from maybe the Duchess of Malfi, that are layered and complicated, and she did it, and you couldn't take your eyes off her. And she got serious plaudits for that. But after drama school, she appeared in plays, we went to see them. She was marvellous, the plays weren't. And she just didn't quite know where she was meant to fit in. And it took some time. But the whole point is that while she was working it out, while she was realizing that actually it was up to her who she was meant to be. While a couple of the staff were saying, no, you're too much, you're too you, you're too lipstick, too much lipstick, and too thoroughly modern Millie.
Not boring.
Not versatile is what they said. Well, they were wrong about that, but they just wanted her to be malleable, more malleable, putty in their hands. But a few years later, she worked out she could be her and do what she enjoyed doing. And when she did, when she got that, when she worked out that was what she wanted to do, she ran with it. And as all of you know, she was fabulous. And she realized what she was doing was what she loved doing, what she'd always wanted to do. And actually, the funny thing is that about half of us stayed in the profession, about half of us left out of our 22. Some because they decided to have families, some because they decided they couldn't hack it, to be honest, and a few other reasons. But Lynda was one of the real success stories, and in fact, the truth of this tale is that the last laugh is on her. I'm lucky enough to be working. I've done a lot of work. I've done some appalling plays that should never have been committed to paper, not even to loo paper. But I've had to do them, or I've had to tour in them. And the thing about Lynda, the thing Lynda did, which no one else has done, is that Lynda has done completely what she wanted to do. No other performer has that. No other performer. But she's always been in charge of her own material. And so she's loved every note she's sung. And there's one other thing, and you alluded to it. And yes, I did. Yes. No, in your marvelous speech, you alluded to it. And I thought, yes, absolutely. Lynda had something else. She had a fix with the audience. And I've often thought about this. Some actors have it, some performers have it, some dancers have it. They're not necessarily the very best. But they have that thing where the audience immediately respond to them. Nobody knows why. Reviewers often get really frustrated by it. I mean, the top reviewers, if you look in the broadsheets, they get so frustrated by it, and they can't describe why. But she had it, and I've taught, I've directed, I've worked with thousands of other actors, and you can't teach it, and you can't learn it. There is no way of reading about it, of gaining about it. As Stephen Sondheim said, you either have it, or you ain't. And boy, she had it. Lynda, a toast.
Cheers to Lynda.
Cheers to Lynda. And now, some music, I think. Fiona. Are you going to come and entertain us?
Well, certainly, if you'd like me to.
I would love you to, and I think we all would.
Thank you, Zac. Thank you. That's very kind.